Hello and welcome to another weekly live stream. Tonight we're going to be messing with clouds again. I'm just about ready to kind of, I think, put this to bed for a while, but I'm still playing around with it. I don't know what it's going to take to get it into the game itself, but I don't know. Maybe we'll get inspired. I don't know. So without further ado, let us go ahead and get started. So this is where we are right now. Yeah, those are the patrons helping me pay the bills. Excuse me. So one of the things I want to do tonight is I have like a bunch of parameters that control what this looks like and the scale and so on. And I'd like to make a UI for that, because what I really want to get to is so this here is sort of, here, let me have a bunch of this controlled with Boolean flags right now that I'd really like to turn into UI parameters. Anyway, so what these represent is sort of the, right now I have a fractal algorithm that just kind of populates a cloud array. Oh, I forgot to pop out my little live stream monitor thing. Anyway, so this is just visualizing what the fractal produced for clouds. Each, like a minimum voxel is like one cloud, and so you can actually see this cloud layer here is this cloud layer up here. You know, you can kind of see, let me move to the middle and we can see a little better. So like if we look here, we've got this clump. We've got this single cloud in the middle of nowhere, and then this clump over here that kind of looks like this, and that's this clump up here. And this single cloud up here is this one right here. Now the one thing currently wrong with this, for one thing, the single clouds don't look right. I'm not entirely sure what to do about that yet. I have ideas, but I think together they look okay. It's kind of got a painterly effect, which I like, because the whole point of Mythruna is there's also a sorting problem. I don't know if you can see in this area of the screen. It's a Z buffering problem. If you move around, you can kind of see it jitter as there's some Z fighting back there. But the reason I have left Z buffer writes on is because I'd really like to have it. I'd like to have the clouds interact with the terrain, but it messes with the scale of the clouds a bit. Like you can see here that this cloud is actually behind this mountain, but in front of this mountain. It's low enough that, you know, this cloud too, it's like intersecting that mountain. I mess a lot with the scale. I'm not sure I'm happy with it. The real cloud algorithm, each of these tufts is supposed to be 1,000 meters. Currently I have it set to 128 meters, which really means this tuft is twice as big, because in order for the puffs to overlap, they have to be bigger than the actual voxel, so that they overlap properly. Otherwise you end up with these weird sort of grid looking lines through the clouds where they don't quite overlap. And apparently nobody's watching anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, I'd like to parameterize that. Then what I'd like to do, if we can get to it in the second half, is start using the real cellular automata algorithms to populate this instead of just a fractal, because ultimately what I want is the terrain. You know, Mythruna already has, you know, sort of a terrain fractal. It already has a climate fractal, and I would like to have all of that feed into how the clouds are created. You know, eventually we can add in prevailing winds and things. But in my original idea, I wanted the scale of the clouds to be big enough that the weather patterns and things might be sort of an indication of what's over the horizon. Right now I couldn't, because they are actually the same size as what you can see in the horizon. But in my original conception, where each of these really was a kilometer, 1,000 meters, a cloud volume like this would actually be over terrain that's way over the horizon. So if you looked in one direction and saw no clouds at all, either that's like a super clear day, or maybe there's a desert over there, or if you saw a lot of clouds in one place, perhaps that means that there's a lot of varied terrain with lots of trees. I don't know. It depends on how the climate model would fall out, right? But so I'd like to get to the point where I have a sort of panel of parameters that I can use to adjust settings about this, because there's still a lot to do in the future. So wait, let me talk about what my goal is. So my main goal, get this to a point for easy future experiments. So we want a parameterization panel with lots of things, basic cellular automata implementation that I can later then go and tweak. But I don't think I'm going to get to something that can be integrated in the game soon, and that really wasn't the point. It's just like I've had all this stuff rattling around in my head, and I've wanted to play with it, so this is sort of the playground for playing with that. And so I want to leave it in a state where if I get some future idea on how I want to render clouds, I can pop into here, test it out, and remember where I was, and so on and so forth. So I've been trying to write, I've been trying to clean up the code as much as possible, so there's not a whole lot of garbage, not a whole lot of commented out stuff. The material's really simple right now. Not a whole lot of commented out stuff, and most of the things are trying to help me figure out what's going on. So anyway, that is where we are. I want to, so parameterization panel. Yeah, I should probably do this. Hooked up to simulation booleans, hooked up to rendering parameters. Based on parameters exposed in panel. Documented for future experiments. So this is where we're trying to get. Because I want to get back to the AI stuff, and so I want to try to put this to bed, but it's been something I think about and poke at all the time. Based on what we had last time, and on any given day I was ready to abandon it, and then every now and then I get these really cool looking clouds. These are obviously too dark, okay? Real cloud rendering, any of these shadows would be the same color as the sky. It's just kind of the way clouds work. But all that will be parameterized, because it's not true all times of day, or in all weather conditions. And actually, even already, like, there's some things I can show, like, I can turn on, oh gosh, which one's the real one? I think it's this one. Why did that not change anything? And why do we set so many materials? Oh, that's because there's town. Yeah. Okay, so that may not have been what I wanted to do. Why isn't it? Oh, this needs to be M fog clip. Okay, so actually, I parameterized this because I kept changing the scale of the clouds. Pound if def fog clip. That's not right. Pound and if. Yeah, so now, like, the clouds fade out with the horizon, which kind of looks cool. But anyway, there's colors that would be associated with all this to kind of make that look appropriate. And there's endless tweaking. And it could turn out, and probably so, that using sprites to implement clouds is not the way I'll go. You know, there are a variety of cloud rendering techniques. This one panned out a lot more than I thought it would. Again, there's still some sorting and z-fighting stuff going on. But it looks kind of cool as you move around in it. Like, let me move this back to the center so you can see. Like, I don't know, I get the impression of a cloud as I move by it. The other thing would be is if it's darkening the ground underneath it, which would be kind of cool, and that would also help show the height. For example, you know, where is this cloud in space? If its shadow was way over here, you would get a better idea. But it's, I think in point of fact, it's actually right over these trees. No, it just starts at the top of this hill probably. But that's not really realistic if we wanted to. So you could spend a lot of time just tweaking this and just playing with the parameters. So yeah, so visually nothing changed much except for the fact that it's no longer interacting with any of this terrain, because every cloud out there is farther away than the horizon pretty much. Yeah, so we get lots of z-fighting. The other thing is, if I did push it all the way out like that, it's never going to interact with the terrain. Then I could turn it into a skybox, which I do have a parameter for, although for whatever reason it didn't seem to turn back off again once I turned it on. But so once I do that, then you don't get that z-fighting anymore because everything is sort of beyond the edge of the... we are getting z-fighting. That may actually be not against the clouds themselves, but against the sky. But anyway, it kind of gives the effect of clouds. I'm just not sure it fits the scene yet. So, but anyway. Alright. So let's see about parameterizing a bunch of this stuff. Before I think I want to do a... Let me make sure I can turn this back off again, because that was something that wasn't working before, and I never did figure out why. It's like, okay, we've definitely got our sorting issues back, and we're good. So it did turn off and on again. So I do kind of like the 128 meter scale, because it does do a little interaction with the terrain, but far enough that I don't think it would cause problems. Well, I mean, obviously if we were over there in that mountain, we'd have the cloud sitting right on top of us, which would be fine. But it moves a little more. Like as you were flying around, you could see the cloud movement, which gives them sort of this 3D effect. I don't know how this is turning out on YouTube, to be honest, but alright. So let me real quickly commit what I have and let the simulation reset anyway. And let me turn off this and The other thing is I was trying to find my book where they had the algorithm for the cloud-based physical modeling cellular automata. I don't know why I can't say that word. And I couldn't find it, so I had to grab the PDF off of the internet. So I've got the original SIGGRAPH paper, which I read, and apparently this has been in a GPU gems or game programming gems, and I know I have read it in a book because I can picture that I bookmarked the page. But I know I have that book, but I cannot find them. I have all of the game programming gems somewhere, but this is a paper from 2000. I think game programming gems 3, which is what Google says this article ended up in. I think that's from 2002 or something. I have these somewhere. They are not in my bookshelf of graphics books. So anyway, but this is the paper, and then I have like a AI generated summary of it as well. So if we get that far, this will be fun to play with. Yeah, 3D cellular automata using like 3 parameters: activation, humidity, and cloud. Yeah. The other thing is I haven't animated the clouds. Like I wanted to have them. Yeah, anyway, there's just tons of places we could go to. If anybody was on, they could make suggestions, but looks like I'm talking to myself. Let me just double check. Oh yeah, 0. I guess last week I did say that I wouldn't be doing one this week. I thought the concert I was going to was tonight, but it was actually last night. Alright, let me see what I'm checking in. A whole bunch of cleanup. Yep, alright. Before I start, let me look up how to add panels. I think I may want to just make a different panel, but I think there was I think in the town, the original town scheduling stuff we did, where it was like a map we were sitting on top of, I had put custom UIs in that. Just seeing if I have anything obvious in here. Yeah. You don't look like it. I think I would have to look for container. Aha. Context pop-up. That's for fun. I forgot that I could do that. Planner dialog, yeah. That is the one. Whoops. How did I add that to the... Yep. Alright, so what did we do? Maybe I moved it to a different... Oh, this is the rigger stuff. Never mind. Looking in the wrong place. That is... I know what that's doing. What I want to see is... We had set up a AI mods UI. Here we go. Structure debug. Structure view. Player debug. Yeah, so I can move the player around. And then basically attach to state. Okay, that's not it. Player sim state. Creates a roll-up panel. Player container. On enable. Yeah, so we get the main menu. We added there. And then there was the other one, which was the town sim state. And for the town sim, I think I added it to the right. Main menu state, get tabs. Right. Let me see if this will run. Because then I can... I can help me remember how I did it. Yeah, the AI status. Okay. So this is different. So this is... That's what this was. The simulated towns. That's this. What I want is... I think we don't have a tools panel. And I don't remember how... Agent status state is on enable get tool state. Okay. So somewhere we added the tool state. It isn't added by default, I think. AI setup. Grab scripter AI. Oops. Find scripter dash name start groovy xarg script tool state. So AI mods UI proto, yeah, we're just getting it. And aha. UI init. Presets. Nope. I don't know. Anyway, I guess for now we can do like the well, let's play around with it. Alright. Okay, first of all, let's go back to the clouds. And go ahead and run. Oh, looks like some people have shown up. Hello, welcome. Hello, the chat. Alright, we got clouds. I'm going to turn off the fade. So we see all the clouds in their full glory. Alright, let's mess with UIs for a second. Steal this to see what it looks like. Alright. Don't think I have any of the lemur stuff loaded. I do. Alright. Well, first, we're also going to need app. Just see if I can get a panel to show up. I'm pretty sure there is no tool state in my cloud parameters state. Happy afternoon, thanks. Yeah, it's light crowd tonight. But I'm glad somebody showed up. I was starting to feel a little silly talking to myself. Okay. Don't need any of this stuff here. Probably we do want that. We do not need this. Do not need that. Let's leave this stuff we're going to want to add. Component. So for you guys joining late, what I'm trying to do is add a sort of parameterization panel to be able to like control different aspects of how the clouds are generated, how they're rendered, and so on, as a stepping off point to the next stuff. My ultimate goal is just to get this in a position where I can easily experiment with it in the future. Okay. So that's fine. I don't need all of this. Oh, thanks. Yeah, that's kind of like, so the whole idea of Mythruna is, the visuals in Mythruna is that if you took a screenshot, it should kind of look like the, you know, the, I don't want to say paintings, but, you know, illustrations in the old D&D books, right? You know, full color, I think not so realistic, but like bright colors, well done, detailed art kind of thing. And so like these steering in this direction definitely appeals to me, because it fits more of that painterly style. That's weird. What is that doing? Schedules. No. Oh, if we don't already have one, we add one. Yes, of course. So in our case, we're going to do clouds, just for now. Clouds, so we do that, and we don't need any of this at the moment. We don't need any of this. This is all other stuff. We don't this. Just trying to see if the tool panel will pop up at all. I think no. I think there's something that enables that. I'm not sure I want to either. It might be better just to have a tab over here. Alright, let's see what I blew up. Yeah, okay. Unable to resolve base app state, so I think must be under state. Oops, wrong character. Nope. Okay, missing no such property, entity data. Yes, that is true. 598. Yeah, don't need this. No such property, state manager. So that would be in. Okay, something. I think it's. Let me just do app. Okay, yeah, so we got no UI at all. So let's just put it in here. Then it's easier anyway. Yeah. So in that case, we want the roll-up. Parent tab roll-up container. Parent tab roll-up container. And then here we just set up the container and our roll-up panel. No, I don't think we need a roll-up panel in this case. Oh gosh. Maybe, okay, it doesn't hurt. Oh, testing. That's what we want. Clouds. And then instead of that, we want to do this on enable, do this, and then on disable, do this. Oops. Donk. Whoopsie. Where was it complaining? 573. That's right. That's not what I want to do anyway. I want to add a tab. Okay, let's do this the right way. I'm cutting and pasting and I'm not even thinking about what I'm doing. That's a bad way to go. So tab panel. What would be the normal way to add a tab if you haven't already added one? Get tabs. Title. Okay. Remove tab. Okay, so this is tab. And so we would want to say, yeah, I'm about to lose my voice. Tabs. Add tab. Clouds. Roll up. And then in here, we'd want to say get tabs, remove tab. Something like that. Let's see if it starts. Yeah, but there it is. Clouds. Yay. Where's our panel? We never added. Okay, so roll up was null. That's the problem. Roll up equals new roll up panel container. Doink. Uh-oh. What did I forget? Oh, it wants a style. Oh, a title. A title, of course it does. Burp. Dirt the dirt. What do we want to call it? Generation we'll try first. Let's see. Dope. Could have I managed? Okay, so they missed one style too. Really cool to see this. What drives you to keep pushing the project forward? You asked that on a really interesting day, to be honest. That is an excellent question. I ask myself that sometimes. Mostly that I've just been doing it so long, and so like even when I play other games, I'm always thinking about coming back to this. It's got enough momentum now that there's always something interesting to work on. Clouds, for example. 573. So can I cast object roll up panel? Sorry, hold on a second. Yeah, I don't know how to answer that question today. That's so dumb. I have no easy way to. It's hard some days. Put it that way. A lot of times I'm just gung ho, thinking I'll just basically work on this till I die. And then this past week I've been kind of dragging. A couple of weeks ago I saw the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once. I hadn't watched that before. And it hit me weird. It was a good movie. I liked it. But like if you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil anything for you, but there was a yeah, I don't want to spoil it, but what the thing that made her special is not exactly a positive thing, and I identified with it. Yeah. All right, you know what made her special, right, was that she failed at everything she ever tried. And so when I've got my house is full of started and unfinished projects and things. A lot of that is because for the last 15 years I've spent most of my free time working on Mythruna when I could have been putting it into other things, but that particular bit stung a little bit. See, if I don't do this, how can I just remove the tabs? Can I just remove them? Or do I have to find it? This is I don't like this. I know why I did it this way, but to clean yourself up. All right, let's see how the original cleaned itself up. Maybe it didn't, and then I just know that I'm screwed. Oh, I see. Yeah, because it's just modifying the existing one. It doesn't have this problem. So tabs, add the tab. That's all working fine, except for this part. And then we could, for tabs, for def tab, tabs, get tabs, if tab equals, oh no, our tab, let's say that. I'm just trying to be a good citizen here in the UI and clean up the tab. Otherwise, we'll just keep adding them every time I refresh the script. So get tabs. If it's the same tab, which I think would have the contents. Yeah. So if tab.panel equals rollup, then we can say this dot our tab equals tab break. If our tab is not equal to null, then remove our tab. Alright, so we're good cleanup citizens, and it shouldn't have taken 15 minutes to do this. Sometimes you get in trouble because I try to cut and paste existing stuff when probably it would have been better. It is get contents. Anyway, I probably would have done better just to have written it from scratch, to be honest. I'm pretty fast. I don't think I saved myself any time today. There we go. Alright. So yeah, like for anyone who's joined late, this is like the I have a fractal that generates the clouds just to test with, and so this shows me what the actual cloud voxels look like, so I can tweak that algorithm. And then this is it rendered as, you know, cloud voxels. So you can see this little guy here is this little guy up here stretching off in the distance. You know, this is, you know, this already over here, that kind of thing. Yeah, so you can kind of see this shape, these are the same clouds. This is useful for checking the fractal density, and this is useful for seeing how they look in the sky. And I can turn on the town if I want to see what the town looks like. Anyway, we got our clouds, we got a panel to do parameterization. So that'll be fun. We can play with, let's first make some way of sort of setting and regenerating this, the density for this. There's a bunch of different parameters that we can send in there. And let me think about how best to do that. Well, let's see which parameters we would want to do that for. Probably these three. So let's say class cloud fractal parms. Excuse me. And we'll make this a version object, which I'm going to have to then, I think it's base. So implements versioned object. All right. And do I want to do it that way? I am going to have to do it this way, because I'm going to reuse. So Lemur has a utility class that just lets you put in beans, and so I will want to have setters and getters for these. Actually, let's go ahead and this conversation private long version plus. I think that Groovy will already give me getters for these. Contrast multiplier. Boink, boink, boink. I'm not sure that was any faster than just typing it out. You have to be able to type though, don't you? Alright, just in case, I'm going to come on. I actually have a macro set up to do this. I just never think about it until I'm already done typing. It's also not on the tip of my brain what the key combination is. Whoopsie. I done messed up. Able to resolve version to object. Is it core? I bet it's core. Nope. Nope. Yeah, it is core. Okay, so now I need to implement the... I don't know. Like, static code analyzers will yell at you for putting a empty constructor in, but I just feel like it... Aesthetically, I prefer it. Because, I don't know, it just helps me separate the parameters from the rest of the code. It's just nice breaking. Then if I have to add other constructors, they're right there, ready to go. What is it? It's cloud fractal perms get object, I think is what the thing is. In this case, just return this. And then finally, these are all... These are all part of... So this is how you make a property panel in Lemur. We're going to get there, but this is the bean to control all the different parameters. Versioned reference. I think it's create reference. Turn new versioned reference. Blink, blink. This. Nope. Enable resolve. Clode. Nice. How many times did I cut and paste that? I cut and pasted that quite a few times. Yeah. Classic. Alright. Okie dokie. So now we can start making a panel for these. Now it's not going to be hooked up yet, but we'll get there. We'll get there. So private cloud fractal parms, cloud fractal parms. We will pass this on the constructor, I think. And we will set up a static one up here. Or not a static one, but cloud fractal parms equals new, blah, 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 blah. And then we will set each of these. Oh, they're already set to defaults. That's fine then. And then in here, down here, where we create this, we will pass it in cloud fractal parms. And this will show us what we want to make a property panel of. So now I need to remember how to do that. I think it is right here. Yep, we want to import that, create the panel. Doink. Import. So this is a utility extension of Lemur where you get this property panel. We just move these. So private property panel fractal props. So then we can say yeah, we don't need this. So container property panel. We don't need this either. Property panel props equals container add child new property panel. I think I can just do that. Nope. What are you complaining about? Multiple compilation errors. Expecting. Did I do it again? How do I end up doing this every time? I take off the curly brace off the end. Okay, see if that. Okay. Oh, see, we're adding new panels every time. That's not good. Something must have screwed up. Probably maybe when we failed to run a particular method, we closed incorrectly or whatever. I think instead of this, it doesn't matter. We'll just end up with until I restart, and then we'll be fine. Okay, so then we want to say. See, the property panel has some things. I think it does support doubles. Yeah, add double property. So let's look at that. So this is convenient, right? Add double property, and then you can say the name is coverage thresh. The bean is cloud fractal parms, and the property is coverage threshold. The minimum value (0.0), the maximum value 1.0, and the step will make 0.01. Okay, let's see if that compiles. Alright, yeah, so we're getting a new cloud every time. But now we have a little thing to change. It doesn't actually affect the fractals yet, but I need to figure out why. So I'm going to get rid of this and move it down here. And then to remove if tab.title equals clouds, to remove add tab. Okay, and then we'll to remove each it. I don't have to say it, we can say tab. Oh yeah. Tabs, tab. Oh. Then we get rid of this. We don't need it anymore. Okay, we added another one. Why aren't we removing the ones that are already there? Is remove not doing its job? Or we should be detaching. Oh. We don't need this part. Let's make a log so that we have one. Log info tab or checking tab log info removing tab. Apparently we are not cleaning up the old one. info detach. Yeah, why isn't it running that? Last cloud parameters state. Last cloud parameters state. Running script, loading thing, blah 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 blah. Cloud or something. Yeah, it's like it's not keeping the binding. These are all the same. See, that's going to be a problem if we just keep doing that. It worked over here, but this is running actual mods, whereas this is just running the script directly. And so I feel like there's a difference in how they work. Well, we can also def state. I think State Manager has a is it App State Manager? Yep. So just to get states, yes. We'll see though. Yeah, so it'll show you all the existing ones. All right, let me see if we're just going to keep accumulating them. Right. It should still be in there. Yep, there it is. So if we'll leave that for now. If state dot get class dot get simple name, if cloud parameters state equals this, app dot state manager detach. This is not the way it's supposed to work, but this will work. Oops. Helps if I use the correct parameter. There we go. It means every time I reset, I'm gonna have to come back. That's okay. That's okay. By the time we get that working, we're just gonna want to be tweaking here anyway. Okay, so now we've got it. Let's just say for some reason this doesn't run. Alright. See, every time I do that, it's going to take us back over here, but we'll have to go back over here. That's fine. Okay, so let's finish adding these. Props, add double property. Contrast. I'll just call it contrast. And then cloud, fractal, parms, contrast, multiplier. Okay, we should already have been, let's call it 1, let's call it 10, and 0.5. Add double property threshold. Cloud threshold. Cloud threshold. 0, 0 point, well, let's call it 1.0, 0.01. That should be fine. And then we go back over here. Now we've got 3 parameters. Now we just have to hook them up to the actual. What should the good values for contrast multiplier be? Yeah, 1.5 to 2. So that's fine. And if we want, so I think all of that has been moved into here. Okay, no, here is where this is the part we want to redo. So what do we want to say here? Right, yeah. All right. Class. Do we want to make this a separate thing? Or just a method? Refresh cloud fractal from fractal. Somewhere I already set the it's down here, right? Yeah. Clouds. So we could instead put this on the cloud volume thing. Let's just say, yeah, it's not, it's ugly. Cloud fractal parms. Alright, so draw some clouds. We want Y size should already be a thing. int xz size, int y size. This dot xz size equals xz size. This dot y size equals y size. All right. So now we have those. Oh, we're gonna need our frequencies too. Hey. Where do I get those? These. Let's put those on here too. So what is my macro? Text lib Java cancel. Nope, that's not what I want. Bean methods. Oh, yeah, see. It's not going to be what I want. Anyway, public void set xz frequency x double xz frequency. Surprisingly difficult to type. Fat fingers today. Public void set y frequency. Double y frequency. This y frequency. Frequency public double get turn. Alright, so that should do that part. Okay, we got it clear. We don't have those added to the thing. That's fine. I'm not going to expose them yet. But what I want to do is in this method, I want to pull these local from the save the lookup every time. Parms. So I should be able to do like Control Shift R. So Alt F3. Boink 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 boink. Oh. And no, yeah, that's what I want. Parms dot. And I should be able to say boink. Oops. Screwed up the macro somewhere. Now let's try again. Control Shift R, boink. 1, 2, 3. Boink. Parms dot boink. Boink. Try again. Yay! Alright. I could have typed it as the same amount of time I made the. Right. So that should be okay. It's not being used yet. And then instead of calling this code down here, what did we call it? Cloud fractal parms. Okay, so then instead of this code, we want to call clouds cloud fractal parms. I should be able to delete all this, but I don't delete things because I'm a pack rat. Should uh-oh. Something's not happy. Oh, Perlin noise. Sure. And we want that to be here. We probably don't want to recreate purlin noise every time, but alright, so we're back to having our nice clouds again. There's the prettiest one. Alright. And so we should be able to regenerate. Well, we're going to need the cloud volume in here. Cloud volume, clouds. Oh, this dot clouds equals clouds. We want to pass clouds, which means we need to move clouds out to the global space. Let's see if we still compile. Correct, we still compile. Alright, now we should be able to, on update, if cloud, oh, we gotta create a versioned reference. Private versioned reference. Cloud fractal parms ref. And then in here, this equals create reference. And actually, we probably don't want to do this until we've already created the UI. And then in here, we can say if update, then we know we need to regenerate. And so we can say clouds. What was the method? Refresh. Yeah. Clouds, refresh. And we'll pass it the cloud, fractal parm, cloud, fractal parms. Alright. Now, if I did everything right, this should all be hooked up to the parameters. So let's see if adjusting the threshold, let's adjust it down. Uh-oh. Oh, we're not re-rendering anything yet. That is the other problem. So we need to initialize mesh again and sort based on the view center. So in here, we initialize mesh. That's going to be expensive. Initialize mesh, and then we sort view center. Alright, let's try again. Okay, so now if we adjust this threshold down, it should make more clouds. Yep. It's not redoing this though, so we needed to redo both. That means I need to move this into here too. Oh boy. Redraw blocks. And that's all good. 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 This should be size x divided by 2. let's see, offset int offset equals size dot x divided by 2 minus offset 0 minus offset. And instead of what adds it to the model, add model blocks. Or we're going to want to keep that blocks around. The web gets bigger. Because new node blocks. Okay. And so in here, we don't have to create it anymore. We're just going to reset it every time. We don't need cast and receive. Yep. And we don't want to do this. We want to what do we want to do? I think let's try blocks set local translation. See if we're going to compile. We're not. Int offset the current. Oh, it does. Oh, it does. This takes too long. Okay, we're getting closer. And so in here, instead of this, we will do clouds, read our blocks. And we will clouds dot blocks. Row. No such property materials. Oh boy. Okay, we're gonna cheat. Static object materials. Cloud volume materials equals materials. Let's see if that works. Yay! Okay, so now we should be able to do this. It's lame, but alright, so now if we go back over here and we adjust the threshold down, yeah, so now these guys will mirror the same. So this is basically changing what the minimum threshold for what makes a cloud is, right? We can take it all the way down to 0, and then we get like denser clouds, right? And so if we bring that back up a little bit, oh, shoot. So that's the other thing is, before we fill this in, we are going to want to clear the cells. Cells, clear 0. I think. Yep. Okay, so now if we're over here, and let's say we've decreased it, now we increase it again. Yeah. Problem is, like, it wasn't undrawing the things we'd drawn before, and so then contrast should affect like how gloopy these are. Oh boy, That didn't work at all like I wanted. Yeah, I don't know that contrast is set up correctly. I guess we started out at 1.5, right? And then coverage threshold, like the lower it goes, the more clouds we get, or bigger volume of clouds, right? So these big giant cloud volumes. It's kind of overcast. Anyway, we've got parameters hooked up. Let's make it, yeah, so you can like make the clouds like wispy and disappear. Okay, so these parameters are hooked up for that. We could hook up some parameters for the rendering as well. I don't know. Let's see, 1030. So the thing is, like, when I start moving to cellular automata, this is like all wasted anyway. I was just using it as a good setup and make sure I had my refreshes working. So let's maybe parameterize some of the material parameters. Which I haven't actually set up parameters for them yet. Let's start making that. Alright, what do I want to parameterize? Let's look. First of all, whether we're fog or not would be a good one. So that would be a good one. The fog color would be a good one. Well, we just mix with the sky right now. That's probably not bad. Sky color would be a good one, and we probably want eventually sky color from 2 different directions, or 3 different directions rather. You know, east sky color, west sky color, and then like a combined north and south. But for right now, we'll just do sky color. I think there's a color. And then what else? We want shadow color, light color. Sky color, shadow color, light color. That seems reasonable. Sky color, shadow color, light color. Eventually the light color should actually probably come from the actual light, but just in case I want to make sure I haven't botched something. Alright. Okay, and so then we probably also want to set up sky color, shadow color. This will let the material still work if we haven't set any of those. If we have these flags sort of pound defines associated. So then in here I could say so pound if def shadow color, then use that, pound else, use this, right? Pound end if equals M shadow color, right? And then up here we could do a similar thing. If pound if def shadow color, pound end if. I'm just going to set one up for now. Uniform. Oh, it's going to be a vec 4, I guess. Shadow color. Okay, let's see if that's even working correctly first. So here where we set the material up, load test material. So let's just really quickly just test for a second. Set color, shadow color, color RGBA red. So this should make the shadows red if I haven't screwed things up, except for I've screwed things up. 375, which is, I know what I did wrong. This is why I did it this way. RGB, RGB. Alright, let's try again. Let's get the rendering properties hooked up, and then maybe we'll call it a night. Sorry we didn't get to the cellular automata. Maybe, I'm going to maybe work on, yeah, okay, shadows are working. Yeah, it's ugly, but it's working. Okay, so we want to make fog a parameterized thing. Alright, so let's do real quick, even higher, class cloud render parms, same thing, except for we're going to do it this way. Okay. Set these up. To be honest, we don't have to do that. We can just set the things directly. So let's see. Boolean has has fog color RGBA shadow color. Wait, set color set shadow color what was the original? Let's see, the original is times 0.9. New color RGBA 0.666 times 0.9 times 0.9 times 0.9 comma 1.0. It doesn't matter. And then in each of these cases, because we're in Groovy, Groovy likes to work in big decimal and doubles. And so we must cast these to float, which I find easier than putting F's on everything and trying to make sure I got it all. Set shadow color. This dot shadow color equals shadow color. Color RGBA get shadow. Oh, you know what? I don't think I have a standard. I have a standard editor for colors, but I don't think I've ever added it to the property panel. So this is going to be a bit extra. I also have to pee. Let's see if I can hold out. Is that going to compile? Yeah, and what we want to do in here is we want to say material, and then material.set color, shadow color. This way, like we basically just hooked it directly up to the UI. Okay, and then then we'll make a central one. And then whenever we load whenever we load a new material, we'll reset all these guys. So that's fine. And then in here, we want down where we load the materials, we want to reset that. So cloud runner set material mat. Let's see if this is going to blow up. Should have put it back to normal. Yes, it did. Cool, cool, cool. Now we need to hook it up to a UI. And so we shall. Cloud render parms. Alright, let's pass that into here. Is that going to blow up? Nope. Okay. So now we can have a separate tab for rendering. Okay, I am going to step away for a second. I'm sorry, guys. Let me put my B right back. I cannot. My eyes are floating. Okay, just 1 second. And we're back. After these messages, we'll be right back. Alright. Now I can think straight. Whew. Alright, cloud fracture plan, blah, blah, blah. So we need to make a new panel, and I think this one's going to be a little trickier because property panel does not support colors. And so, but I'm pretty sure I do have a color chooser. Yep. And this is where I'm going to wish that I had yeah, that's unfortunate. So like if we had, anyway, whatever, it would have had to have been a separate property. So private shadow color equals new versioned holder. Yeah. New color RGBA. Let's just make sure that it's working by setting a really outlandish color. Okay, and so then, yeah, we'll make a separate. we can't make a separate roll-up panel because I made that the roll-up panel. Yeah, we actually want a container to which we will add the roll-up. And it will have its own container, that's fine. This container panel equals new container panel panel add child blah blah blah, and then instead of here we want to do container. I think that still works. Clouds, yep. Okie dokie. What this will allow me to do is have a separate panel for other things. So we'll do generation at the bottom. Rendering. Okay, so now we should get 2 roll-ups. Yeah, this rendering doesn't have anything in it yet. Okay, cool, cool, cool. And what we want in there is something that I wish was standardized. But what we will say is, maybe I can steal the spring grid layout from over here. This one. I think. Main axis Y with no fill. Yep, that's what I want. Alright, so then panel add child new label shadow color, and then panel add child new color chooser oh, won't let me set the model. That's interesting. There's no constructor that takes a model. Does it create a model then? If model is null. No. If model is null, yeah, it creates one. Okay, cool, cool, cool. So we'll just use the one it's got. Huh. Nope. New color chooser null, and then we will say shadow color equals blah blah blah. Let's see if that works. Nope. Lame. Lame. Oh, I probably want the color chooser to pop up on a button, to be honest, but we'll see. Clouds. Ha. Yeah. Meh. Alright, well, I mean, this is going to take a little bit more than I thought. It's got to be done, though. Alright. Because what we really want is a color editor. Extends container. And then what we say is we have a button activator color editor versioned object color RGBA color color model. The model's fine. Private. Okay, and so then to here, let's see. Activator equals new button. Activator dot set color background. Oh. No. We want a private quad background component color indicator. And so we will set color indicator new quad background component model get object. I think that's what we want. Is it going to compile? Yeah, okay. And then we say activator dot set icon color indicator. And so in here we say private color editor shadow color editor. Eating a burger right now. Nice. Yum. I just have to figure out what I'm going to have for dinner. Okay, so instead of this, what we want to do is say this dot shadow color editor. Oh, we do actually want to keep this. Equals new color editor. Shadow color. Right? And then instead of adding that, we add panel, add child, shadow color editor dot activator. Alright, see if that does anything. Okay, so yeah, we'll get a button and we'll be able to click on that button to get the pop-up to come up. That's what we want. Okay. And so then we want to add child new color chooser equals new color chooser string null chooser dot set model and then add child chooser and then add child new action button new call method action close this remove from parent I think that works. We won't actually know because I can't actually click yet. And actually, it should have failed, to be honest. Oh no, removed from parents there. Yeah, so protected void show. And so we actually want this to be a action button as well. And we'll say new call method action with nothing. This show. And then system out print line show just to make sure it's popped up correctly or hooked up correctly. So then we go over here and we say big, 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 big. Yep. Okay. So then GUI globals dot get instance get pop-up state, and this is how you do it. All right. Pop-up state. We want to say show modal pop-up. With just the pop-up. Okay, so see show modal pop-up this. Alright. Now we should say boink. We say boink. Uh-oh. Oh yeah. Boink. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's bad. Okay. We want it to auto close. How do I make it? I thought it automatically auto closed. Just zoom out mouse if it's still pop up system closed. I see a turtle in the clouds. Yeah. I see. I think this right here. His little feet and his head. Is that what you're thinking? I kind of see it. Yeah, nice. So first of all, we want to center pop-up state. Center to GUI. Center to GUI this. I think that our UI is probably blocked. Yeah. I see a face in the clouds. Let me see. I remember the direction because I constantly face this direction because I think it's the nicest looking one in this particular cloud set. So we'll just turn towards the turtle. Okay, so boink. So we'll just turn towards the turtle. I don't know where you see the face. I don't know that I see a face. Okay, so let's see. If we go here and we say think. Uh-oh. Yikes. Why? Designate nose center to GUI is applicable. Color editor. Possible values center in GUI. Let's try again. Oh. If I can even get one color hooked up before the end, that would be nice. We can make some crazy looking clouds. All right. So let me go ahead and move up again. Turn towards the turtle. I'm just going to keep calling it a turtle now. Okay, so this should pop up thing. Okay, cool. We can set the cloud. Close. It didn't actually change it. We need to... first of all, versioned reference color RGBA ref this dot ref equals model dot create reference at override public void update logical state float TPF. Very first thing we do is call super, and then we say if ref update color indicator set color model.get object. I think. Let us see. I just want to see if the button changes color when I do this. Uh-oh. 766. Oh, this dot model equals model. That's a common mistake for me. Okay, turn towards the turtle. Go over here, clouds. Boink. Yay, so look, it's changing the button color. Close. Let me open it again. Change it. Okay, cool. Now we need to make it hook up to the shadow. Shadow color ref equals. Oh, we can just do this. Actually, shadow color ref, the ref equals shadow color dot create reference, and then if update, then we say cloud render params set shadow color ref dot get value, I think. Okay, so now we should be able to set the cloud color. Whoopsie. What is it? Versioned reference. Get. Of course it is. Alright, let's try again. Alright. Looking over here at the turtles. Go here. Ding. Yay! Check it out. Now. Close. How many monitors are you using for development? I just used the one. I have it on a KVM switch. I have a second monitor over here that I usually leave covered. I actually don't like the distraction. But right now, this is running the live stream over there. And then my main big monitor is sitting right in front of me with green clouds on it. And I have it set up to a 4-way KVM switch so I can use it for work or for Mythruna or for whatever's on this screen over here. Because this used to be my main, this one over here, used to be my main work development machine. That's my own personal machine, but I used to use it for work because it's like an 8-core beast. You know, back in the day, that was a big deal. Nowadays, my laptop has 32 cores or something. It's crazy. So anyway, okay, so that's working. Let me really quickly set up another one. Now your turtle looks green. Also, I need to initialize it to the correct value right off the bat. So we want to say shadow color dot set object cloud render params dot get shadow color. So now it should be initialized to the very first. Yeah, so now this should be. Oh no, that's not right. Yeah, because we needed to do it before we set that up. Green cloud's gonna be late 90s, early 2000s vibe, sci-fi vibes back when. Yeah, true. Okay, cool. So now they start out in the right color, although it's not selected the right color. But you can make it lighter or darker. Wow, the beeps come really late. Okay, so now we can even make it like the clouds darker or lighter. So that's kind of cool. Let's set it back to something dark so we can tell the difference if we set something light. Okay, so now real quickly before the live stream is over, let me set the other main color, which would be the sky color, which I use for the fog, which we currently have set. Cool. Okay. So pound. We can set the light color. Let's set the light color. Or we could do them both. Light color. Pound. Pound else. Pound end if. So this one be sky color. Sky color. Alright, that's all good. So we'll set these up. So the sky color. Sky color. And the light color. Light color. Okay, so light color is just all white. This one we're going to want to keep. Okay. So then up here in our render parameters, right here, private color RGBA, light color was new color RGBA 1111, private color RGBA, sky color, new color RGBA, and float. Boink, 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 boink. 1.0. See if it compiles. It do. So now actually we can cheat a little bit. New break. So we could say, instead of this we could say Hado. Instead of Hado we want Kai. And then replace all. Boink. Okay. So now we got this. We can change this down to here. See if that works. Whoa. Undefined variable sky. What? Where did you find sky? Oh, in the... I screwed up in here. Oh, yeah. Sky. Light. Stupid busted shader. Alright. Let's try again. Hey, we got 3 people on right at the end. Let's see if we can hook up at least the colors, right? Alright, so everything's rendering correctly. Alright, let's put the turtle in the view there. Okay, so then over here I can say, instead of sky, I want light. Replace all. Okay, instead of lowercase sky, I want lowercase light. Replace all. Okay, boink, boink, boink. Put that over here. And then take this 2. Alright. Alright, none of the rendering changed. That's good. That means our colors are set correctly. And now, if we look for shadow color, oops, we find all the places, make sure I set everything. Okay. Yeah, so we can take that out. Okay, so we want similar deal here. Only in this case we can at least go sky, place all. Probably I could have encapsulated more of this into the editor itself. And so then we'll say sky to light, replace all, boink, boink, boink. Okay, and then this similarly, over here. Oops, sky, shadow to sky, replace all. And then sky to light, replace all. Alright. Oh, we're gonna need sky color, oop, sky color, light color. Yep. And then down here, let's do these by hand. Sky, sky, light, light. Okay, so everything should be hooked up, assuming we compile it all. Alright. So we got that. We go over here. We got, oh boy, something didn't get hooked up right. Because light color should be all white. Sky color, oh, this part. Sky color, those were the only capitalized. Okay, let's try again. Okay, clouds, there we go. Okay, so then light color we could set to be really ridiculous things. Except for that doesn't seem to be, that seems to be setting the shadow color, doesn't it? Alright, so that's not right. Oh, similar thing down here. Here, similar thing down here. Alright, let's try again. This will be tremendous. In fact, I want to probably add this kind of thing to the game as a debug thing. So there we could say, make sunlight, like super bright sunlight or something. So give the light a little yellow, right, for our clouds. Actually, let's put the town back. That'll reset. I don't have a flag for that yet in the UI, so it's going to reset all of our colors. but that's okay. So now what we can do is we can play with what might look good here, right? So for example, we could lower the threshold and have the clouds beef up a little bit, or we could increase the threshold and have the clouds disappear a little bit. Our turtle goes away. So let's put our turtle back. And then if we wanted to, say, move the light like lower in the sky, where is the light now? Oh, it's behind a cloud, so we can't see it. Oh, no, it's right there. So, let's make it lower in the sky still. Right? So then I can play with colors. So I can say, well, the cloud shadow color now should be kind of a pink color. Right? Maybe more orange. Right? And then the light color should be more of a yellow. Right? So you can start playing with the values. Of course, the sky color itself is wrong for this, but we could even have like, yeah, so yeah, unfortunately now I can't reset that, but anyway, you can get the idea, right? I can play with the colors and get something pleasing for different times of day. Anyway, so what does it look like down here in the town? Yeah, I mean, it could work. I think the scale is too big. Like, I think that probably we need smaller cloud volumes. So, you know, in these like more sparse clouds. They're also probably too tall. Right, and again, I gotta work on the single voxel ones because they look dumb. But I'll tell you why. So, there is, let's see, where is the single, well, so there's this thing I did where I sort of overrode the voxels, or these billboards, they face the camera, and if I let the, so side normal, yeah, so if I take this out, this is the way they were last week when I finally got them to, let me reset here. Yeah, so it's going to reset all of our colors, but so see, now they all face the camera, and oh no, they've still got the colors set up, right? And so each voxel faces the camera and is lit as if it was a quad facing the camera, which means it's fine when we've got the sun low in the sky like this. It looks fine. In fact, it looks pretty good. There should probably be a little more shadow under here. But if I come back and I take the sun back up, it, like sun in the, high in the sky, it looks dumb because like all the clouds are shadowed because the sun is shining on the tops, but like we're seeing the cloud facing. And so what I did was, given that I know on which edge each of these voxels is, I basically used that as the when it's not in a fully interior or by itself. So basically, if it's fully interior, I can't tell which, you know, sort of direction the side is, and the other case I can't tell the direction is when it's a voxel by itself. So now I know these voxels are on top, so I set their normal to be facing that direction, which just happens to be towards the sun. But these single voxels, they still face the camera because they don't have a better, actually this one might be, okay, so this one's closer to us, and so these actually do get a vector. But there's single ones by themselves, they just face the camera. And so that's not really accurate. I need to have them in the case where a voxel has no direction at all because it's a single voxel. I need to actually spread its normals out so that at the top they're facing up and at the bottom they're facing down, kind of thing, instead of all facing towards the camera or all facing in a particular direction. At any rate, this is kind of cool. So I've got parameters to play with now. I think this is probably where I'm going to end it, although we've now more viewers than when I started. Yeah, so it's kind of cool. Let me reset the colors. So we get them back to daytime color. So I could take it and make this a little more realistic by taking the shadow color, making it a little brighter. Right, because so the other thing is we don't have self-illumination in the clouds. Like really I should be taking the light direction, and I should be figuring out sort of Rayleigh scattering and things would make clouds kind of glow because the light scatters off the water droplets in there, and so very rarely do you get like really harsh shadows unless there's a lot of cloud. So these would be kind of realistic. These would not be realistic. That would be a much lighter shadow. In fact, in this kind of weather where we go to fog at the horizon, these would be the sky color. Shadows tend to be the sky color on clouds. But anyway, we're getting somewhere. See, I like that look. That one looks, and I kind of see a face. There's a nose, eyes. Is that what you were talking about earlier? We got a turtle over here and a face over here. Anyway, so it's getting somewhere. I'm not ready to abandon it yet, so I think there's still promise here. A whole bunch of tweaking over the next few months. And maybe next week we'll do the actual cellular automata. So like to basically use a physical-based model to figure out where the clouds are instead of just this sort of thresholded fractal thing going on. Because then we can animate them too, and it can be based on terrain. Like over mountains, you might get clouds bunching up against the side of the mountain, stuff like that, which could look kind of cool. But yeah, I like it. It still shows promise to me. I don't know about how you guys feel, but I would not hate this in the background so far. It's definitely got its problems, but it's kind of getting there, right? So yeah, kind of cool. Yeah, so we can like go super high for a second and see the clouds as they go off to the distance. Yeah, tornadoes win. Yeah, because that's the next thing, right? When you get like really, like this guy there should be lightning in this cloud, right? It's getting up to that point. But yeah, like over off in the distance, this kind of looks cool, right? I think this could add to the, and this looks like they're raining over here, right? Yeah, it would definitely, they'd be in fog or raining in this area. Given the darkness of the cloud, this looks like rain to me over there. Alright guys, I think this is where I'm going to end it. I think this is kind of an inspirational place. Maybe we'll play with this as a part 3 next week. Kind of depends on how my week goes. But yeah, I like this. I like that right there. I'm going to take a... Yes, I do. Like, the world already knows the general climate of any given area. That's how it decides where the plants and stuff are, but I definitely want weather. I want you to be able to see a dark storm on the horizon and have the ability to plan for it coming, and maybe there'll be magic storms and things where they're like extra powerful or something. And certainly if you were flying an airship, you'd want to get out of the sky. If you were flying an ocean vessel or piloting an ocean vessel, you know, storms might be a problem, could wreck your ship, etc. Yeah, I like this actually. I'm almost ready to include it in the game like this, so this is pretty cool. Any other questions before I start shutting it down here? Yeah, this is really neat. Yeah, with the tweakable colors, that's definitely helpful. Pretty cool. Alright guys. Yeah, it's looking good. Thank you. problem is, like, most of the time you're down here, right? Man, I really need to add the control to fly fast, the control button. So most of the time you're down here, and so you'll just see kind of like that. But if you're ever up in the mountains, then you get that far view. Actually, even down here, they look pretty good. Yeah, I like it. So yeah, well, maybe we'll keep playing with this, and I'll work on the AI separately, like in my own time. There's that face again. Now I see it every time. So yeah, all right. I think this is where we'll end it. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll end it on the face. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for joining. If you liked the video, like, comment, subscribe, and so on and so forth. And I hope if you're working on something productive, you have some inspirational moments of your own. And otherwise, I will see you guys next time. Thanks a lot. See if this is going to work. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, thanks, guys. Catch you next time. Yeah.